Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Navneet Saluja D'Souza.
Good morning, Navneet. I'm Agam Vakil. Here are the headlines. Expiry for the June series has begun on a subdued note. The Nifty trades around 11,850. Most sectoral indices are trading with gains. And 34 stocks will have their last trading day in the F&O segment today, as stocks were found to be ineligible based on the exchange's enhanced selection criteria. Open interest has surged in LIC Housing Finance and Hindustan Zinc as traders have taken fresh short positions. And Bharti Infratel is the top gainer on the Nifty after Morgan Stanley reinitiated coverage on the stock with an overweight rating. And Mindtree is down for the sixth day in a row today after L&T acquired majority stake in the company.
Okay, those are the top headlines for you at this hour. An important day. Let's tell you what's happening with the markets. The June series will expire today, and you've got the markets opening on a positive note this morning. Both the benchmarks as well as the broader markets have been trading with some mild bit of gains. In fact, as we speak, Nifty is inching very closer to the mark of 11,900, and the rollovers currently stand at about 56%. Pull up the Bank Nifty as well and check what the rollovers are still about 51%. But Bank Nifty, remember, for the past 3 sessions, the rally started on Tuesday. It has been outperforming Nifty in the last 3 days. And pull up the broader markets as well before we proceed. Mild bit of gains coming in for the mid-cap index, but small cap is seeing gains of about 0.5%. The market breadth this morning has been in favor of the advances like yesterday and today. Last when I checked, the market breadth was firmly just about 2:1 in favor of the advances. In terms of how the series shaped up, let's just pull up the stats from where we started the June series. In fact, for the series, still Nifty is down about 60 to 65 points. We started the series when Nifty was somewhere about 11,920 thereabouts, and Bank Nifty too has seen cuts for the series of about 200 to 300 points. But in terms of what the positions are looking like right now, and those are the levels actually, we started the series at 11,945 for Nifty and 31,537 for the Bank Nifty. But in terms of positioning, the maximum open interest is at the call side is at the 12,000 strike, and on the put side it is at the 11,700 strike. And specifically in today's session, last 2 days we've seen more of put trading coming in the system, and in today's trade also 11,800 and 850 are witnessing OI addition of between 17 to 14 lakhs. 11,900 till now has seen addition of 10 lakhs. So far, looking at the data, it looks like the expiry may take place in that range of about 11,780 on the upside to about 11,950 will be crucial now. But I just want to highlight one FI data point. Markets have been inching higher, but in the last 2 sessions, FIs have been adding shorts on index futures. Hence, we've seen the ratio also coming down to about 52 to 53%, vis-a-vis 60% being net long on index futures when the June series started, Agam.
It is important to note, and as we've already addressed, that about 34 stocks will move out of the F&O segment come tomorrow. F&O segment will look a lot leaner in terms of the list, and of course some prominent names on this list which will move out is Jet Airways, Gen Irrigation, Suzlon, where a lot of these analysts have suggested that it should have been out of the F&O segment a long time ago. And besides that, we're keeping an eye on something like Reliance Power, which has of course been relatively volatile. DCB, another one which has been relatively surprising considering it has been moving out of the F&O segment. So we'll be watching out of those names. Of course, they will still be available for you to trade in the cash segment. But that said, let's talk about stocks which are actually seeing an increase in open interest today. This very expiry, of course, and we do have a lot of traction in Axis Bank. It's up 1.5% today. It's 23% increase in OI, and this is just the June futures. So let's wait and watch that. There very well may be some amount of profit taking, considering there is an increase of 23% in open interest today. And I can say the same for Mahindra & Mahindra as well. Tata Steel, Bharti Infratel, Motherson Sumi are looking at some strength. And of course, also in terms of the gains that we've seen in open interest, the unwinding list, the numbers will of course look a lot larger considering it is expiry. And of course, you do have some of these names which will move out of the F&O segment. But Reliance Capital, Reliance Infra, G1 Financial Services certainly looking at unwinding, IDBI Bank and Torrent Pharma among others. which are also seeing some declines in OR. Again, this is largely on account of the fact that it is expiry. So a lot of names to keep an eye on out there, Navneet.
That's right, Agam, and specifically 3 stocks on which we would like to take views from our experts. And top of the list is Mindtree, where L&T now holds majority stake in the company, and news of CEO likely to resign. But stock is down for the 6th straight day, and also remember it has been trading below its 200-day moving average. The other one is Reliance Infra, though the stock is down almost 37% in the June series, but last 2 trading sessions we've seen some bit of recovery coming by. So let's check whether the stock's bottomed out or not. And lastly, Tata Global Beverages, that's been an outperformer, 16% higher in this particular series. And yesterday also we did see long positions in this counter, and this one is trading above all its key moving averages.
Okay, well, it's time to get in our experts. But before that, here's a reminder. If you have any queries regarding futures and options markets, you can call us on 022-4540-4141. And of course, write to us on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube with the AskBQ hashtag. We have today Ashish Chaturmohta of Sanctum Wealth and Aditya Agarwal of V2 Wealth Securities joining us on the show. Good morning to both of you. Thanks for taking the time out. Ashish, where do we go from here? What are you reading on the benchmark indices?
Yep. Hi, good morning, Agam. So I think we have a very constructive view on the market, and we believe that the kind of data we are witnessing, we are seeing, it looks like that we are heading towards 12,000, 12,100 in an immediate short-term basis. We have formed a strong base somewhere around 11,750, 800 zone, and considering this, we are seeing strong put writing happening at 11,700, 11,800 basket. There is a huge call writing unwinding positions which we are witnessing in 12,000 strike, which clearly suggests that the upside is getting more stronger. Considering this, I think I'm not recommended today any strategy, but definitely one can look for initiating a long at an index level with a stop below 11,830. On upside, I'm expecting it to hit 12,000 kind of zone in next 2-3 trading sessions.
Okay, so technically, according to Ashish, index is poised to move higher in the coming days. Aditya, good morning to you. Are you recommending to take any position on Nifty or on Bank Nifty on the expiry day?
Morning, Navneet. Well, yes, definitely means if we see Nifty, then after the 6-7 days of consolidation, Nifty has given a breakout of the narrow range. It was trading, that is 11,650 on lower side, 11,850 on higher side. This was a 200 point span in which Nifty was trading for last 6-7 days. Yesterday, Nifty tested those levels. Today, we have seen a good breakout above that level. So I'm expecting that Nifty on higher side can test 12,000, 12,100 in next couple of trading sessions. So our view is positive on market. We are recommending to buy a 4th of July 11,900 call option, and that call option is just rallied in the last 10-15 minutes. So if there's any dip in Nifty, if that call option comes in the zone of 75 to 80 zone, then one can buy 11,900 4th July call option with the first target of 110, second target will be 130, and on lower side one can keep a stop loss of 50 in that call option.
Okay, so that's Aditya's view, and of course his call as well. He's buying the 11,900 call, and this is of course a July one. But Aditya, I'll come back to you. You also have a bunch of stocks today to discuss. What's looking good to you?
Well, on long side, I would like to go with Jubilant Foods. If we see Jubilant Foods, this stock has seen a good correction from higher levels, from 1380, 1390 levels. Stock corrected towards 1250, 1240. And if we see for last 6-7 days, it is trading in a band. On lower side, 1240, 1235 is a very strong support zone. So I'm expecting that from these levels, we can see a decent short covering move in the counter in the next series. So at current levels, one can buy with a stop loss of 1238. On higher side, 1310, 1315 targets. Second buy call will be Ultratech cement. Whole cement pack is looking positive. In last 3-4 days, we have seen good amount of long position getting built up in all the cement sector. Ultratech today has added almost 16% shares in open interest. Overall structure is looking positive. Again, means stock has rallied in last couple of minutes. So I would wait for some dip. If a stock comes in the zone of 46.20, 46.10, and that's a good zone where one can enter into long position. On higher side, my first target is 4700. If that is broken, then 4760 will be the next target. With a stop loss of 45.70, one can initiate on any decline in Ultratech cement. My last call will be a sell call that will be in technology sector. TCS is my short candidate. I mean, if we see whole technology sector, now we are seeing some kind of profit booking at higher levels. Stocks are not sustaining. If we see Infosys, TCS, both these stocks, now some profit booking signs are there. So TCS, I am expecting some profit booking may come. One can short sell TCS at 22.50, around 20 at current levels, with a target of 22.10. and my stop loss on higher side will be 2280.
Okay, so 2 long calls and 1 short call for the day coming from Aditya. Ashish, what about you in terms of stock futures? You've got 2 buy calls.
In fact, 3. First one would be Axis Bank, which is looking very promising. I think here we have witnessed a good amount of long build-up and as well as long rollovers in the next series. So this could be initiated as a buy idea. 780 would be my trading stop loss. 835 is a short-term target I'm expecting in Axis Bank. Petronet is one stock which we are liking. It has given a strong breakout on weekly charts with OI addition of almost 7-8% in the next series. So clearly, I think this could be initiated as a long idea. 245 would be my trading stop loss. 258 would be a short-term target in Petronet. But since it's a weekly, monthly breakout, I think targets could be extended further from 258 to 265 depending on the momentum. And one stock which we like in the PSU banking basket is the State Bank of India. Again, a very strong Y addition in last couple of few weeks, and now stock is heading towards its all-time high territory. So clearly a breakout of almost 8-9 years of consolidation. State Bank could be bought with a stop below 356. On upside, 370 would be my short-term target in State Bank of India.
All right. Well, those are some of the ideas coming in from our experts. And with that, let's talk about stocks that we want to address today. And I'm going to start with Mindtree. We've seen some weakness in Mindtree of late. Of course, now it is evident that the perceived hostile takeover of Larsen & Toubro of Mindtree is reaching endgame, considering Larsen & Toubro has already bought the 20% stake out from VG Siddhartha and his own Coffee Day Enterprises. And moreover, the additional open offer so far has received a good response, which means that the stake is likely to reach 59%, and that is L&T's stake in Mindtree is likely to reach 59%. We also have PTI reporting that there is a likelihood that the current CEO, Rostov Ravanan, is likely to resign in the course of the next couple of weeks. These are PTI reports, so we must keep that in mind. But all in all, it does seem like this entire story is reaching its conclusion over the next few weeks. We certainly will have a better idea about the complete picture with respect to Mindtree and L&T's ownership in there. That said, let's also pull up how the technicals are looking, because they are looking weak. Do remember that the open offer price was at around 980 rupees per share. That's out of the way now. It's currently at around 921. So the real question is, where does the price go from here now that a lot of these fundamental news elements have already played out? And look at that. There is a sharp decline in Mindtree over the course of the last, 1 or 2 odd weeks. We'll have a better picture if we actually pull up the 1-month chart, and we can get an idea about how that one's doing. But from this particular chart, as you can see, it is testing the 200 daily moving average. It's down around 6% in the last 1 month. A lot of that weakness coming in just the last 1 week. The real question is, at least as far as technicals and the futures and options space is concerned, what do you do from Mindtree now that, all your news flow is largely factored into the price? Ashish, this question is for you. Your view on Mindtree from here on.
No, as a trader, I would avoid, because I think still the trend clarity is not there. But what I would suggest is that yes, there is some sharp correction which we have witnessed from 990 to maybe 900 zone, 898 zone. But considering this news flow event, I think now 898, 900 should act as an important support for the stock.
Right.
Considering that, I think it should consolidate between 900 to maybe 930 for next couple of few trading sessions. Once we see a sustainable move beyond 930 after this consolidation, I think then that would be a time to really look Mindtree, but at this juncture I would clearly avoid any long shot in Mindtree.
Okay, avoid taking any position in Mindtree is the advice coming in, but the stock continues to be in focus. It's down about 1.5% in today's session. The other one which is in focus is Tata Global Beverages. This is an outperformer, in fact, for the June series. The stock has given you returns of about closer to 16%. In yesterday's trade, this was up about 5 to 5.5%. Can we pull up the intraday chart? It did have an opening in the positive, but right now the stock slipped from those higher levels as we speak. It is still trading with some bit of cuts. 271 is the level. Aditya, if I could come to you, it has been on an uptrend for the last many trading sessions, but would you advise taking any position, or let's say if somebody is already holding long positions here, would you advise them to roll over their positions into July series?
Well, if we see Tata Global, then this stock has seen a good movement in last two series. In fact, in this series itself, stock is up by more than 14%. But at current levels, I won't be advising to recommend fresh long positions, as 280, 285 is a very strong resistance band. And today from higher levels, we are seeing some profit booking. I'm expecting this profit booking to extend till 260 levels. If someone is holding long, they can continue to hold long with a revised stop loss of 254. On higher side, if 280 is broken, then stock can test 295, 300 levels. So yes, if someone is holding long, they can continue to hold long, and if all stocks comes in the zone of 260, that is a good time to initiate long position. But at current levels, one can avoid initiating long position in Tata Global.
It's gone all right. Okay, let's talk about Reliance Infra then and pull that one up, because what we've done is rather what we're seeing currently is that well, there are rollovers which have picked up towards the short side, and while there is unwinding in the June open interest, we are looking at well, some amount of increase in the July open interest. Well, one of the few counters that have been spared from, well, exclusion in the futures and options segment. But we must remember there's also been strength in Reliance Infra over the last 1 or 2 odd days. It's currently at 15.50. It's down 2.4%. Aditya, I'll come back to you on Reliance Infra. If you can take us through what you would do with this one, or if you would want to avoid taking any positions in this.
Well, stock is definitely looking weak. Means in last 3-4 days, what we have seen is a short covering move after excessive selling. But again, today means at higher level, 65, 66 is a strong resistance band for the counter. I'm expecting that stock may again retest 50 to 48 levels. So any pullback in this counter can be used to initiate short positions. Long positions definitely not to be initiated in this stock at current levels, as overall strength is still looking very weak. Means at current levels also, I would like to go short sell with a stop loss of 66. On lower side, 50 will be the first target. Below that, 46 will be the next target in this counter.
Okay, that's the view on Reliance Infra. Still for the series, it is down about 38 to 39%. Okay, let's quickly move on to our viewer queries. And the first one comes in from Manikant. He writes to us on YouTube. He wants views on Bank Nifty 31,300 call strike for the next weekly expiry, which is slated on 4th of July. Ashish, if I could come to you, would you advise taking any position on the 31,300 call strike of Bank Nifty for the next weekly expiry?
Yeah, one can do that, because if you look at the entire banking, banking stocks are in a good, strong uptrend, and particularly Bank Nifty itself is showing a very strong traction, and a move towards 31,800, 31,700 could not be ruled out. Considering that, I think that definitely 31,300 long call option makes a lot of sense at this juncture.
Okay, Ashish, a counter that you track closely, Tata LC. We have a question on YouTube once again, and we have a viewer who wants to buy the Tata LC 900 call. Let's assume that he is talking about the July series. What's your view here on Tata LC?
So the good part is, in the last couple of few months, stock has formed some good strong double bottom formation at around 835, 840 zone, and after that we are seeing some good traction. On the weekly charts, we are facing some resistance around 884, 885, and once that level gets crossed over, I think definitely a move towards 930, 940 could not be ruled out. Considering all this, I think buying a call option makes a lot of sense, because the stock is now into a strong consolidation, and a possibility of a strong breakout could not be ruled out. And keeping that in mind, creating a long position in options makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, the next query is on Exide, and we've got a query coming on Facebook from Brajesh Pandya. He's got one lot of July futures at 204 of Exide, and he wants a view on this counter. For the June series, actually, it's not done too well. I believe it's down somewhere about in the range of 5 to 6%. But Aditya, if somebody is taken a position for July series, would you advise to hold on to this position? If yes, what should be the target price, and also a stop loss if you could recommend?
Well, if we see Exide, stock is looking slightly weak. I think it can again retest 195, 194 levels. So from these levels, risk-reward ratio is slightly in favor of short sellers. So I would like to go, in fact, short sell in this counter with a stop loss of 207. And on lower side, 195, 194 will be a target. So long position, I would like to avoid at current levels. Yes, stocks breaks 206 levels. In that case, one can go long in Exide. But at current levels, trend is slightly on weaker side, and I would like to go short with a stop loss of 206.
All right, and a query from Lalit on YouTube on Reliance Industries. That's the 1360 call and the 1260 put. Now, that means that I'm assuming that in this case, he wants to sell a strangle in Reliance Industries. This involves the 1360 call and the 1260 put for the July series. Ashish, would you recommend that in terms of your view? Would it be a good strategy? Selling the strangle.
Yeah, selling the strangle makes sense because I think Reliance is going to be range bound within this broad range of 1320 on upside to maybe 1260, 1250 on downside, and I think keeping this in mind, this is a good strategy to be initiated at this juncture.
Right.
Okay, Ashish, we've been getting a lot of queries as to how should one position themselves ahead of the budget, and one specific query is in the PSU banking space. I think this has come from Krishna. We've seen some of the PSU banks, moving higher, especially in yesterday's session, but that could also be on account of short covering. A lot of them are moving out of the F&O space. But any specific strategy on any of the PSU banks? You've already given your call on SBI, I know, but anything besides that?
See, I've been maintaining this view that if someone wants to really play this entire PSU banking basket from a positional perspective, State Bank is something which looks very, very promising. Now, the reason being, if you look at, there could be a lot of fundamental reasons, but I'll not try to discuss those things. Definitely, there are fundamental reasons why State Bank is getting this re-rating, but technically what is getting reflected that we'll discuss, that stock after consolidating for 8-9 years is trying an attempt to cross its all-time high, and this is the only stock in the entire PSU banking basket which is trading at a 52-week high, which is trying to hit near its all-time high, and that too after such a strong consolidation. Versus rest of the peers which are trading either at 30 to 40% discount even today from the all-time high zone. So maybe they are making a 52-week high, but from extremely lower levels. So if suppose if the stock is corrected from 200 and it is today 50, and and it has tested lows of around 35 and the 50 is 52-week high, it is showing the stocks are hitting 52-week high. But if you look at the longer term nature of the stock, it is State Bank of India which is looking very promising. So I would like to initiate long position in State Bank of India, and if I have to hedge my position, I think I'll go with any of the weak PSU banking basket as a short candidate if I want to really create a pair trade kind of strategy. Okay,
fair enough. So positive view on State Bank of India, and I think we have time to take just one more query. So I'm going to take one more up from Manikant. He wants to take a position in the Maruti 6800 call July series. In fact, he's already taken it. He wants to know if he can hold on to the 6800 July series call. Aditya, I'll direct this to you. Your view on Maruti and your view on this specific 6800 call for the July series.
Well, if we see Maruti, then on lower side, 6300, 6350 is a very important support for this stock. And for last multiple months, if we see stock has tested those levels, and from those levels, we have seen a good pullback. So I'm expecting a pullback in the counter. Stock may come towards 6740, 6780 levels. But see, overall trend for Maruti is not very strong. What we're expecting is a short covering move in the counter. So if the stock comes in the zone of 6750, 60, that is a good time where he can book profit in the Maruti 6800 call option. And around those levels, again, we will see some selling pressure. So more or less stock is looking range bound, but from these levels we can see some 150 to 200 point short covering move in Maruti from current levels.
Okay, that's the view coming in on the 6800 call strike of Maruti, which is out of the money currently. Let's quickly revisit the markets. We're still trading in the positive territory above that mark of 11,850. 11,900, I believe, will be a key level to be watched out for, because there's a lot of open interest addition also on the call side, that 11,900 call which is seen. So that'll be the first resistance, I believe, to be watched out on the upside. The broader markets are still holding on to their gains. The mid-cap index is still sitting with gains of about 0.5%. Small cap 0.5%, mid cap seeing gains of about closer to 0.3%. Just want to pinpoint few stocks which are doing well. Among your Nifty gainers, you've got Axis Bank, which is your top gainer, up about 2%, and stocks like India Bulls Housing and IndusInd Bank, which have been laggards of this series, are seeing some bit of bounce back. And SBI, as recommended by Ashish during the show, that too is doing well. Other than that, Arvind has shot up in trade, but this one too has bounced back from the 52-week low that it registered on 19 June. Right now it's at about 68, and you've got stocks like Karnataka Bank, TV18 Broadcast, which moves out of the F&O space, is up about 3%. Divan Housing, Manappuram has seen some bit of profit booking in last few sessions, but that's also back in action today, 144 for this one. Whereas on the losing side, among the F&O securities, you've got stocks like Reliance Capital. This one, by the way, stays in the F&O space. IFCI, Reliance Infra are seeing some bit of cuts, and MRPL, Walkout Pharma, Tech Mahindra, some of the other stocks which are seeing some bit of correction.
Okay, on that note, I'm going to take a moment to thank both our experts, Ashish and Aditya, for joining us and taking us through their views and solving some of our viewer queries. For more updates on the F&O space, you can check our website out, bloombergquint.com, specifically the futures and options pages.
Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the F&O Show, but do tune in tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the rollover special of the F&O Show with Amit Shah of Bob Capital Markets. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint for more news and updates.